Unit 731, Japan's secret biological death camp. Imagine a place so dark that even the Nazis were horrified by it. A place where doctors didn't save lives. They destroyed them. Where humans were dissected, alive, frozen, burned, infected with plagues. This was not a myth, not a rumor. It was real. This was Unit 731, Japan's secret biological warfare facility during World War II. A house of horrors that tested the limits of science and the depths of human cruelty. In the 1930s, Japan was building an empire. After invading Manchuria, they set up a special research unit in a remote area near the city of Harbin. Officially, it was called the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department. But behind those words hid something far more sinister. It would become known as Unit 731. Led by microbiologist Shi Ishii, it had one goal: to turn biology into a weapon of war. Prisoners were brought in. Chinese civilians, Russian captives, Allied posts. They were labeled not by name, but as marauta, the Japanese word for logs. Why? Because they weren't treated as people. They were materials for testing. Victims were injected with anthrax, cholera, typhus, and bubonic plague. Some were dissected alive without anesthesia to observe organ failure in real time. Others were locked in freezing chambers, their limbs shattered with hammers to test frostbite. Women were forcibly impregnated and then used in chemical weapon experiments. But Unit 731 didn't stop at the lab. They tested biological weapons on entire villages. Japanese planes dropped plague-infected fleas over Chinese towns. Water supplies were poisoned. Entire communities were wiped out, just to see how fast a disease could spread. Estimates say up to 500,000 people died from these field experiments alone. It was not war. It was genocide. In 1945, as Japan surrendered, Unit 731 destroyed its buildings and burned its records. SEI and his staff disappeared. But here's the darkest part. They were never tried for war crime. Why? Because the United States government cut a deal. In exchange for their research, their data on human suffering, the perpetrators were granted immunity. While Nazi doctors were executed at Nuremberg, the scientists of Unit 731 went home, got promotions, and helped rebuild post-war Japan. For decades, Japan denied Unit 731 even existed. Victims' families were silenced. Whistleblowers were ignored. Today, many in Japan still don't learn about it in school. But survivors and researchers have fought to bring the truth to light. The legacy of Unit 731 is not just a story of horror. It has a story of how science can be twisted, how secrecy can silence justice, and how even the most unthinkable crimes can be buried. If no one demands the truth, Unit 731 wasn't a myth. It was real, it was systematic, it was evil, and it reminds us of one terrifying fact. The greatest horrors in history are often committed not by monsters, but by men in lab coats who say, "We're just doing research."